My boyfriend didn't do anything for my birthday. I'm ticked, but am I overreacting? Throwaway, and obviously, minor details have been changed, so my boyfriend and I have been together for just over 4 years. He recently moved to an apartment with a higher rent, so obviously things have changed. We don't go out as often, and when we do, I tend to foot the bill. After rent and bills, I now have more expendable income, so I'm more than okay with that. But this particular situation has me kind of miffed. Every year for my birthday, he makes a big deal out of taking the night off work so we can have dinner together, and after dinner, he takes me to Pandora to pick out a new charm for my bracelet. It's a cute little tradition, so a week before my birthday, I was joking around with him and trying to find out where we were going for dinner. He said we weren't going anywhere because he had to work. I teased him about it because he says that every year so he can surprise me by picking me up from work. He snapped at me and said we couldn't do anything for my birthday because he really did have to work because he's broke and has no money to spare for extra things. I apologized and said it was fine. We'd spend some time together on the weekend and have pizza in bed because all I wanted was to spend some time with him. My birthday was last Thursday. He worked, and after work he called me to say happy birthday, and he was sorry he couldn't afford to do anything or get me a present. I said it was fine, and I couldn't wait to see him on Saturday so we could spend the day together. And then he told me he wouldn't see me until the evening because he got a ticket to a festival and he was going with one of his buddies. I was kind of taken aback, but I knew he hadn't seen his friend in a while because he's been working so much. So Saturday night comes and he comes over after his festival and he's got 3 bags of stuff in his arms. I asked him about the festival and he tells me what a great time he had. And then he proceeds to empty out the 3 bags worth of merchandise he got at the festival. And that's when I started to internally fume because he's taking shirts and things out of the bags and being like, I got this. Oh, it was only $10. And I got this one, but it was only $15. And this one was X or etc. And he's listing how much he paid for this stuff. Overall, he spent about $200 on festival merch. I didn't say anything because I didn't know what to say. Our usual birthday tradition, not including gas, usually runs less than $150. I know it wasn't his intention, but all I could think was, you could spend $200 at a festival for yourself, but nothing for my birthday. I feel so selfish for thinking it, but I also still feel so upset inside. I saw him yesterday and he was wearing one of his festival shirts, and seeing it made me fume all over again. TLDR, boyfriend breaks birthday tradition because he says he's strapped for cash, goes to a festival and comes back with $200+ worth of merchandise. I'm peeved, but am I overreacting? Update 1-2 weeks later. I'm sorry this is jumbled. So, I haven't talked to him about the festival at birthday fiasco. I actually haven't seen him in over 2 weeks. Not actually on purpose. I've had some events planned for months that were gonna fill up my weekends. He's known this. I see a therapist once a month. I have since I was a kid. I talked to her about my frustrations a few days after I made the original post, and I ended up breaking down in tears. He's been treating me less like a girlfriend and more like a sugar mama, and when I thought about it, I realized that it's been going on for months. I feel used and numb. I feel stupid for not realizing it until now. While I was busy and not seeing him, I took a mental break from him to attempt to think clearly, figured it wouldn't be too hard since I'm always the one who contacts him first. I think he realized I was pulling away. He started texting me like he was in the beginning of our relationship. Good morning texts, random, just thinking about you messages. You know, the fluffy messages you get when you're in the honeymoon stage. I started to think maybe everything else was just a phase or I was overthinking things. But actions speak louder than words. He said he missed me and said he wanted to come to Saturday's event. Friday night, he asked what time it started and where it was being held. I told him, and he said he couldn't wait to see me. I looked for him. He never showed up. I felt so disappointed and heartbroken. I didn't hear from him at all until I had posted a pic on Instagram about finally being home. He said he was sorry he didn't see me. He was just busy. I know from his roommate that he was at home playing video games. He used to be this sweet romantic. He'd swing by work just to drop off a muffin and coffee from my favorite place, come over at 1 a.m. to help me with my trig. When I broke my arm, he'd come over during his lunch break to help me wash and brush my hair. He used to be my biggest support system. I see him next weekend. I plan on telling him everything I've been feeling lately. Depending on his reaction, he'll either get a second chance or I'll break up with him. I can't be in this relationship if it keeps going like this. I am not good at being alone. It's been a fear of mine. So I know there's a chance I'll chicken out of breaking up with him. But I don't know how much longer I can do this. TL.dr. Haven't talked to boyfriend about the birthday festival fiasco, but have come to realize some things about our relationship. I feel used and numb. Unless something changes drastically, we're headed for Splitsville. Final update 6 days later. I want to start by saying thank you to everyone who's commented, both on my update and on the original post. Having all those words of advice in my head definitely made this easier. Spoiler alert, I dumped him. Backtracking here, let's go from the top. I was planning on bringing up our issues and my feelings on the car ride home from the family event. I'll say it now. It was his nephew's birthday party. I like his family, so I didn't want to stir the pot before the event. So we went to the party. We had a great time. He was attentive and sweet, just like when we started dating. We get in the car, talk a little bit about the party, and then we had a lull in conversation. I took a breath to say something, but before I could get a word out, he said he had something he needed to say. He said he felt bad about the way he'd been treating me the past few months. He said he felt like he'd been a terrible boyfriend, basically, since Christmas. He said he felt bad about me paying for things and that he hadn't been making time for me. There was more to it, but that's the TLDR version of the speech. He was supposed to be taking me back to my place, but he made a turn I wasn't really familiar with. I asked him where we were going. He said, "You'll see." We ended up at a mall. He parked the car. He opened my door. I asked what we were doing there, and he said he wanted to make up for my missed birthday plans. So he was taking me to Pandora to pick out a charm. Honestly, I thought it was sweet. I thought the past few months were a phase and they were over, and then I asked what made him think of doing it now, since my birthday was almost a month ago. He admitted he saw my post here. I didn't even know he was on Reddit, and when he read it, he was 98% sure that it was about us. Since I made the original post weeks ago, I did ask if he read the update. He said he had, and that was why he was taking me to Pandora. That's when it stopped being sweet. I said, "So basically, you're buying me jewelry because I said I was done with the way you've been treating me and was thinking about breaking up with you?" He didn't really give me a response, so I asked again. "Are you seriously attempting to make up for breaking the birthday tradition because you saw I was thinking about breaking up? You haven't even apologized." And then he said, "I'm sorry, you think I'm selfish because I bought myself some shit at a festival. Happy?" He wasn't even really apologizing. He threw it back on me. He was only doing this to shut me up, so we wouldn't have to actually talk through our issues and I wouldn't break up with him. I told him that if he had actually read the post, he'd know that I wasn't upset about the birthday tradition. I was upset that he blew me off and upset that we hadn't spent time together. I told him I was tired of feeling like a bank and not a girlfriend, and he threw it back in my face, saying I wasn't allowed to say that because I had offered to pay for things. I told him he could leave. I was calling my brother to pick me up. He told me to stop being ridiculous. I started walking away, and he grabbed my wrist. He's never been physical with me like this, and he was clutching my wrist and digging his nails into my skin. I told him to let go. He told me to get in the car because I was making a scene. I kept telling him to let go of me. He said, "You're acting fucking crazy. Just get in the damn car." I kicked him. He let go enough that I managed to twist my arm out of his grip, and I ran into the mall. I hid in a dressing room. I locked the door behind me, and then I lost it. I sat on the floor sobbing. I didn't even realize I had run right past an attendant until someone knocked on the door and asked if I needed any help. I couldn't even respond in a human fashion. I think I just blubbered at her. She pushed a packet of tissues under the door. I don't know how long I sat on that floor crying. I finally realized I needed to get home, so I went to call my brother. I had about 30 missed calls and even more messages. You can guess who they're from. I didn't read them all. I sent him one message. "We're done. You can drop off my stuff Monday when I'm at work. All of it. I don't want to see you or speak to you ever again. We are done." I now have him blocked on all forms of social media, and I'm working up to blocking his number, TLDR. Boyfriend saw my Reddit post, tried to buy me, out of breaking up with him. When I called him out on it, he got physical. He's now my ex-boyfriend. Eat shit, Derek. What do you guys think? Let's discuss in the comments. Follow and like for more stories.